So since I'm doing this creating a thumbnail for my series as just like a fun thing to show off and for you guys to kind of see if you like, I've never really seen a YouTuber do anything like this. You know, people talk about their thumbnails and whatnot. I don't really create too many provocative thumbnails because I am a Let's Play channel, right? There's nothing really too provocative I can do other than making my thumbnails as pretty or whatever it may be. But for Dragon Age 2, right? So we'll go to Dragon Age Origins really quick so I can show you what I did with the thumbnail here. So to kind of show like a simplified Dragon Age Origins, there's a border here showing that it's completely different. Now this border is actually referenced to a couple different things. For Mass Effect 2, I ended up using the same exact border. So in Mass Effect 2, I ended up using the same exact border except I got rid of this little number area, just kind of differentiate it from Origins. Excuse me, for Dragon Age Origins, I ended up using for Mass Effect 2. I ended up taking the assets, passing it over to here, ended up, just doing my wonderful things, just, close up, interesting images, anything that kind of like matches whatever the title of the video is, which I make the title of the video when I render it. I rarely change the video's title. So let's see, what do we have here? We have like, I cut out the corrupt symbol, which I've used for a couple, jokes. But this asset right here, it may look familiar to you if you play Nier Automata. This is actually the menu screen for Nier Automata before it opens fully. And I ended up just pretty much mirroring it, as you can see. Same hashes, same everything. Ended up making it a little bit smaller, flipping it over so it looks like the borders are in there. And, this delicious cream Oreo stuff is gone. So that's what I ended up doing with Dragon Age Origins. And for Dragon Age 2, I want to do something a little bit different. So I was looking through, I wanted something, I was thinking if I made something that referenced Mass Effect, or I made something to reference a BioWare game that was very, very iconic and liked throughout time. And as you can tell with this is a Shearwood text. I ended up mimicking Baldur's Gate. Now you can see this Baldur's Gate thing has actually been stripped of its parts currently. A little bit more. Where is that? Not there. Right here. So this is going to be the border of the series. So we'll do this. So let's say like that. And then, where's it at? As you can see, to Dragon Age 2, this is actually the cover art of the box, right? I ended up finding an asset, taking it over, putting some stuff on it to make it look a little bit different from everything else. This is actually all the characters in the game, if I'm not mistaken, or important story characters. Boom, we got the name of the game, and boom, we have the 4-3 asset right here, which has been stretched to shit, right? So let's see. So if I do this, this is what it looked like prior. This is what the Baldur's Gate like opening menu looks like, if I'm not mistaken. And I ended up taking these as just kind of like a screenshot. Baldur's Gate's in 4.3. As you can see, there's a cursor there for Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is a very iconic series. I've heard about it all the time. I hear people say, oh, it's a reference to, Baldur's Gate is actually in the Faerun, right, if I'm not mistaken. It is a place in the Faerun. It's if I'm not mistaken, the Neverwinter games also cover it, but BioWare, this is one of BioWare's famous games, right? And I ended up just taking assets from that, stretched it out, because I was like, oh, you guys really won't care about that, right? It won't really look too bad. Part of me wants the skull, but the skull really doesn't mean too much for this series, but we have Dragon Age 2, boom, and this was very difficult to find. So you'd be like, Luna, this is very ugly looking text. I was like, it is very ugly looking, and it doesn't really look that good, right? I've done many things to try to make it pop out, and there's not many stuff that you could really do too much in this like little character creator to make it pop out too much with colors and whatnot. And I want this specific color because this is the color of this font. This font here is actually the same font there. And the font, I actually had to look on forums to be able to find it, but it's Shearwood. It is Shearwood font. So if I ended up typing this out, let's see, hopefully it's not, oh yeah. Let's see. Where is it at? Let's see. So this issue that I'm having with it, it's actually typing backwards. Which if I pull this out a little bit more, you'll be able to see. This is an issue that happens with Photoshop all the time. As you see, it's typing backwards. So if I go like, if I try to spell Baldur's Gate, oh wait, no, it's actually fixed. Sorry, I thought it was typing backwards. So Baldur's. So this is actually the same exact one. I just kind of, I've made it a little bit fatter on purpose. But so it could be read a little bit easier for thumbnails, but it's pretty much the same exact font for this series. And so I use that for the game's wonderful title, and this one's very, very, very simple. It just has the border, and then it has, you know, the characters that we ended up meeting. As you can tell, I only have 7 episodes out currently right now. This motherfucker. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. I know what you are. So, it ain't too bad. This... that's there because I fucked up. Let's just say that, right? So what's funny about this is that I ended up having an issue where my computer was having drivers issues and all this stuff, and pretty much I couldn't load any videos or anything on my computer without a driver crash and a blue screen of death. It was really, really bad. More things started getting affected. Sound drivers, video drivers, it was really bad. So I ended up restarting my computer. So I didn't have the native file to this, but I did have the file that I uploaded onto YouTube, which... if you're wondering, you're like, okay, what does that mean? So on here, in my wonderful editing software, I can just turn off the top layer, which I dedicated to my webcam, right here, and I could just take a screenshot, right? And, you know, boom, it's done. And then I have a high-res PNG screenshot. But sadly, if it's a screenshot on, like, a fucking YouTube video, you know... but if it's a screenshot on a YouTube video, obviously I can't remove this. I don't have the ability to do so. And to kind of show a little bit more, I ended up saying later on within the series I had issues with it, right? I was recording in weird formats and stuff like this. So this is how I record the series, right? I end up recording it, boom, like this. You have this wonderful little area right there. Which is for the game, and then we have my webcam right here, and I can literally bring over the recorder, right? As you can see, I have the 1080 by 720 screen right here, and then I have my camera, which is like, I don't even know what it is at, like fucking $6.99 right next to it. And all I do is that I ended up just cropping. I ended up cropping the video. I don't have to enlarge it. It's already the perfect size. I had to minimize this, so that's why it looks small and has big black borders like that. This would fit it perfectly, and the only black borders would be there. I ended up cropping my video out, my face cam out, and then I could just put it anywhere I want on the screen. You know, I could shove it in my ass. I could put it whatever it may be, and the game looks perfectly fine here. And at any moment, I could just move stuff around. Like, you know, let's say if my webcam was, you know, let's say my webcam was, for whatever reason, it was just right here, right? Right here when the battle numbers were, and I'm like, oh, I want you guys to see that in my editing. Boom, just move it over here, whatever it may be. I don't have a set place where I move it or anything like that. Nothing really too crazy like that. But yeah, that's pretty much. The Dragon Age Origins one, the Dragon Age 2 one is very, very simple. It's nothing too crazy. But I think it's cool to kind of learn how things are made. It does look very ugly, but games back when didn't really look that showy and whatnot. And I do want to mess with this number a little bit more. It may change over time, and I may re-edit it, but I'm not exactly sure. Because it's not fully the same exact shearwood, but